Spiritual Healing Center is also a member of the United States Spiritist Federation, and beliefs are based around scientific, philosophical, and religious principles of Spiritism. Emmanuel taught that knowledge and love are the two wings for our spiritual evolution. So that's why we kind of have this broke up into two parts. We're going to speaking first, and then the second part is going to be the hands-on healing. And before we get going, I want to share with everybody. I think everyone knows, but it's always good to let everyone know just how many opportunities we have during the week. And every first and third Tuesday, we have an inner transformation with the collaboration of Divine Light and with Brazea Spiritual Healing. That's from 6:30 to 8 p.m. And then the other days, Divine Light. Currently, I think we're studying Jesus in the Home. And if we have time, we get into the Spirit book a little. And that's also from 6:30 to 8 p.m. And that's just the other second and fourth, if you will. On Thursdays from 6:30 to 7:30, Duska has a Spirits book class, which is awesome. I've learned so much, and it's really nice to have these classes because it, in a way, forces me to do what a lot of times I put off. So it's a great way to keep going. I think we're just about a third of the way through. So if you haven't joined, please feel free to join because there's a lot of wonderful knowledge in that class. From Fridays to 6:30 to 7:30, our brother Mark has a music class, and it's been so enlightening for me to this point. It's so interesting to learn about music and in the ways music has interacted with all of us throughout life. So if you haven't joined that as well, that's a really cool class. I've learned a lot from it. And then the first and third Saturdays, I do the introduction to Spiritism. And like we always say, feel free to join and contribute. It's for everyone, and it's a good way for us to learn together. So if you have the time, feel free to stop in. And then Sundays, I think it's the first and third, or is it the second and fourth? I didn't write that down, but we do a Spiritism for Youth, 8:30 to 9:30 with Brian. And I think it's the opposite of me, so I think it's the second and fourth.
Yeah, second and fourth. Thank you, Rob.
No problem. And I'm sorry, brother, that I never attend that one, but in the mornings, they go so quick. I really would like to get in there, but it just hasn't lined up for me yet.
We only can do what we can do. There's only 24 hours in a day.
That's right. So our presenter today is Deborah, and she's going to be presenting on Ask and You Shall Receive. Deborah Silva has been studying Spiritism for more than 10 years and is a member of Brazilian Spiritual Healing since 2016. Deborah was born in Brazil and moved to the U.S. 6 years ago. She is a mother of one boy and is a nutrition professor at Folsom Lake College. In her spare time, she enjoys outdoor activities with her family. And outdoor activities are so awesome. Good for you for getting out and sharing that with your family. So if we could all give a nice warm welcome to Deborah, and I really look forward to your speech. Thank you.
Good morning, all. Thank you. Yes, for sure. I need to be around nature. It's just, for me, it's essential. So let me share my screen here. Let's see. Can you all see my screen? And can you hear me well? Yes? Perfect. So let's begin. Today's topic is Ask and You Shall Receive. And this is our chapter 27 of our gospel. So the very end of our gospel. Ask and you shall receive. And for me, the topic was from the Spirit's teachings, how to pray and the joy of prayer. And I gotta be honest with you. Anytime I get a topic that I'm gonna be talking about, I go and run to the gospel to see if, I've highlighted a lot, if something that I have read many times, or if something new to me, and I check the page. And this time I open and I check and was like, oh, it's only 2 pages. I really have only 2 pages to speak. And my personality is, if you give me 10 pages to summarize in 2 lines, I can do that like very easily. But the opposite is hard for me. So when I saw 2 pages, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be talking for 2 minutes, that at most. So last week, Robbie was saying about the opportunities that we have, right? And that really stuck to me because I was like, yeah, this is my opportunity to develop a new skill here. So I felt thankful that I had this challenge to have 2 pages to talk about. So let's see if I can talk for more than 2 minutes. I'm just kidding. So we'll start with how to pray. And the very first sentence in this topic is, the first duty of all individuals, the first act that should signal their return to active life is prayer. And this, so I read the very first one and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm already failing on that. Because since Tom was born, my life has changed so much. And most of the time I wake up with a tornado coming in my bedroom and, you know, mama, 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 mama. It's like, wow, okay. So I just lost the habit of praying in the morning. And I feel like we are full of excuses, right? And my excuse is Thomas. Oh, Thomas comes and, you know, it's just too busy. But guess what? I have time to check my phone. And I not allow myself to check social media in the morning, but I still checking my email. So I do have time, even with my tornado coming to my bedroom, to check my email. So why not check with God, right? Why not pray first thing in the morning? So this past week I've been trying, you know, and everything is practice, everything is exercise. So I'm trying to really like wake up with my tornado and pray. Because we can can have just these few minutes of connection with God and just, you know, say thanks for the day, thanks for the night that we had, and just changing the settings and setting the day that we want to start with this good energy of prayer. So I've been practicing this and I think it's pretty amazing. So I'm thankful again for this topic. And then says, nearly all of you pray, but how few of you know how to pray? And when I read the nearly all of you pray, I was like, I don't know if this is still true to our society. I know that hundreds of years ago, people are more connected to religion, but I was wondering if this is still true. So I found this, I did some research. It's the researcher on me that's always popping. So I found this graph that was very interesting that shows that 55% of Americans, these adult Americans, they pray every day. And I was actually surprised by this number. And as you can see, around 77% of the population in the United States do pray. So the sentence, nearly all of you pray, is still true to this day. And then I decided to compare with other countries, the research on me again. And I can't say surprised, but I thought it was interesting to see that in this study, they found that the people who mainly, or the frequency of prayer is higher in countries of Africa and the Middle East. And the frequency of prayer is lower in countries of Europe. So we see that the welfare we get, less prayer or less connection we have with God. And this is not a surprise, right? We know the more materialistic we are, less spiritual we will be. And Jesus said that. And it's just more, for me, it was just like, whoa, okay, this is, I guess, true, right? So I feel like United States, as a wealth country, we are doing really good with sticking to prayer. So 55% is still, of our population is still praying every day. We see some countries that 1% of the population pray every day, like China. So I think we are doing something good in our society here in the United States. And then I decided to check about generations. We have this thing that our younger generation are not as religion as the older ones, and they are just not as connected to God. And in this first graph, we can see that, yeah, if you compare daily prayer, older generations pray more than the millennials. But in this research was, the other was not the same paper that I found, 50% of the millennials, they look to religion for guidance. But an even higher number look for God and connect to God, talk to God. So 62% of this generation connects to God. And I was, in this case, surprised to see that maybe less people are looking for a religion, but more, or still lots of people connecting to God, which is very good. And honestly gave me a little hope, because I feel like through the years, we have been in so many wars in the name of God. We have been killing each other in the name of God. So if we still connect to God, but not as religion-based, maybe we can really unite. Maybe we can really live as brothers and sisters. So I don't know if this will happen, but honestly gave me a little hope that people are still connecting to God, but not as strongly following religion. I don't know, maybe disagree with me, but I gave me a little hope. We'll see. So the chapter continues. They should lift themselves to the feet of the divine majesty, with humility, with profundity, in a rapture of gratitude for all the benefits that they have been granted up to this very day, and also for the night that has passed, and during which you have been allowed to be with your friends and with your guides, even if you don't remember. And this was really what made me connect and feel like, okay, I really should be praying in the morning. I used to have that habit, and life goes on and you change your habits, you adopt some new ones, and sometimes you just disconnect with some things. But this was a habit that I had, and I think it's very important. And this just convinced me, okay, I really should improve in this aspect of praying in the morning, first thing we can do in the morning, and just connect with God and say thanks for our night, thanks for the opportunity that we have a new day to start. Your prayers should be humbly ascend to the feet of the Lord, to commend your weaknesses to Him, to ask for His support, indulgence, and mercy. Also, your prayer should entail a request for the blessings you need, but the need must be real. And I think this gets a little tricky, because what's a real need, right? We are all so different. Maybe, which is a struggle for me, for you it's like a nothing. You have been through so many other things that's like, oh, that's no big deal. So identify what's a real need and what is not as real or not as important. I think that's the number one thing that we should be conscious and think about. And we have some suggestions in this chapter. So useless things to ask God. Shorten of trials. So imagine that if you are going through a problem right now in your life, most likely you are going through this for a reason. Maybe it's because something that you have done in this life or in your past lives. Maybe something that you just need to learn, and you're gonna, after you pass this problem, after you overcome this, maybe you're just gonna learn something. So you're gonna learn a lesson. So there is a reason why you are going through this. So if you just ask God, shorten of trials, like, you are going to class, you're taking a nutrition class, and then you say like, oh, you know what? I don't think I want to have a lesson today. But you're gonna be asked the exam, that lesson is part of the exam, so you can skip that class. That class is important for your knowledge. And sometimes we just don't really realize. We want just to end that suffering that we are having the moment. We just want to end the problem. We just want to finish everything. But there is a lesson to be learned. So asking for a shortening of trial, it's really not gonna work because, again, you're not going to learn your lesson. Also to give you joy or to give you wealth, okay? So the suggestions is to ask for patience, resignation, faith. So if you're going through some problem, I'm sure you are, we all are, this is part of life, right? Ask for patience, ask for resignation, ask for strength to deal with that problem. There is a song in Brazil that says, Deus dá o frio conforme o cobertor. So God gives you the cold according to your blanket. So imagine that if you have a very thick blanket, God is gonna give you like a Utah cold. If you have a very thin blanket, God is gonna give you just Southern California cold or Florida cold. So in this review, like anytime I have a big problem, I really think about that. If I'm going through something right now, I have the strength to overcome, because God is so merciful and so just that God wouldn't allow me to go through something that I wouldn't be able to pass that, to go to the next phase. So if I'm going through something, I do have the power and the strength to overcome. So ask strength to God, ask patience, and ask understandment for what's the lesson. We all have lessons to learn. And then I need to research something else. What are people asking for when they pray, right? What are they asking for? And the suggestion is to ask for your moral improvement. So it has this question in the how to pray. How often do you ask God for your moral improvement? And I know in this group here, most of you ask for moral improvement. I know you guys, you are amazing. And you really try to be better as spirits. But as a society, as you can see in this graph, moral improvement doesn't make the list. Just to begin, okay? So it's less than 4% of the population asking for moral improvement, we can assume. People ask to win the lottery, 21%. People ask for others to get fired. People ask to get a good parking spot. People ask God this type of things. And then lots of people are going to say, oh, God doesn't listen to me. God doesn't really listen to my prayers. It's like, are you asking the right advice to God? Really, do you think like winning the lottery is gonna help you? We're gonna make you a better person? I know it's gonna be easier for you. Yes, money makes life easier for sure. But we're gonna make you a better person, right? We're here to become better, to leave Earth better than we came, right? So just winning the lottery, most likely, it would be easier to become worse than better, right? So then I was checking, wow, 37% pray for their enemies. And I think that's really amazing. Pray for your enemy, it's really nice. And praying for others in general. But then I was checking with myself that I've prayed for others. And I think praying for others is a good thing. But I've prayed for others to change. And now I look back and I noticed that I was praying for somebody to change. And my real intention, being 100% honest with you, was if that person change, it's more comfortable for me to live life. Because that person has a behavior that bothers me. So if that person changes, oh, it's not bothering me, right? So it's more comfortable. And then after I thought about this, I realized I have a tattoo in my foot for like 10 years that says, be the change. From that sentence, from Gandhi, be the change you want to see in the world. So I have this thing written in my body for 10 years that you should be the change. And I'm still praying for others to change. So I don't have to change. How crazy is that? I really honestly felt ashamed. It's like, oh my gosh, how crazy, how ridiculous is that? But anyway, everything is experience, right? So now, anytime I pray for others, I'm gonna check with myself. Am I praying for their health and their happiness and their success and, positive things? Or am I praying to just stay in my comfort zone? So they change and I stay comfortable where I am, right? We should be asking God for our transformation. If others will change, we hope so, but we cannot change them. We cannot change them. And just realizing that we are all mirrors of each other. If somebody bothers me, it's most likely because I have that as well. So if I say somebody's very selfish and that really affects me, most likely I also have the selfishness on me. So I should be working on my selfishness and not expecting that somebody else is going to change, because they will when they are ready for that. But I should be working in my moral transformation. So this was really an eye-opening for me. Before anything else, ask for your betterment, and you see what a torrent of blessings and consolations pour over you. And really is. We ask the wrong things. We ask to have an easy path, and it's not easy. Will not be easy. Life is hard. It's how it is. But let's connect to God and ask for strength and faith and patience. And God really help, because you are asking the right things. Other sentence that I found very interesting in this topic. You must pray without ceasing, but without having to go to a church or kneeling in public squares. So again, the middleman, it's not a necessity. It's with you and God. You and God, the connection between you two. And if you enjoy going to church and if you enjoy the religion, amazing, but you don't have to. We don't have to. Of what importance to the Lord are the sentences you mechanically say one after the other out of habit? And the thought arising from the heart is heard more by God than the long prayers said out of habit. And I felt guilty again, because especially when I'm praying with my son, I'm teaching him the Lord's Prayer. So we pray every night. And often I realize I'm just saying mechanically words, just to go through so I can put him down and, have some time for me. And realizing that was like, oh my gosh, I could really feeling and connecting to God. And I was showing my son this beautiful connection, not just the mechanical words, So I want to teach him the Lord's Prayer, but I want to teach him the connection with God that he can have, and to show him how amazing it is to have faith and how amazing it is to trust God. So yeah, another eye-opening for me. Then I checked the Spirit's book. And in question 659, the question is, what's the general character of prayer? And the spirits respond, prayer is an act of adoration. To pray to God is to think of Him, to draw near to Him, to put oneself in communication with Him. He who prays may propose to himself three things: to praise, to ask, and to think. And I feel like in general, we are really good on asking. Maybe we don't ask the right things, but we ask, right? We love to ask. We ask, please God, all the time. But how much are we praising God, and how much we are thanking God? We have so many blessings in our lives. How much we're really feeling the gratitude for the next day, for the night that we had, how much we are really feeling, not just saying, oh, thanks God, but really feeling thankful to God. The next question was, does prayer make men better? And the answer was yes, yes. Prayer connects you, not just with God, but with the spirits, the good spirits. And this help of God and good spirits help you to go and fight the evil temptations. So really connecting with prayer, that was another thing that made me think, praying in the morning, right? Connecting with good spirits, connecting to God. Just set your day for success, for having a good day. So for sure, prayer improves you and helps you to fight the temptations. And we have so many temptations to fight, for sure. And the follow-up question was about those people who pray for long hours, but still, envy and jealous and selfish. And the question is like, how does it work? How they can be in prayer for so long and still connected to evil temptations, right? And the answer was like, yes, you can be praying for a long time, but are you really connecting to God? Are you checking your own defects? It says they shut their eyes to their own defects. You can say mechanically those sentences. You can pray a Lord's Prayer 200 times, but are you connecting to God? Are you checking what are you doing wrong? If you pray in the end of the day and say, oh yeah, today I failed in something. I thought I was going to be more patient with my son, for example, and I exploded with him one time. Okay, tomorrow I'll be better. This is really saying, connecting, using God as a therapist, right? Connecting as a friend that you can trust and you can open up and really say what's happening with you. How can you improve? How can you be better, right? So people who pray for a long time, long hours, maybe they be using the prayer as an occupation, but they're not studying themselves. And it says they're not the remedy. It's not the remedy that is not working, but how it's been administrated. So somebody might say, oh, birth control doesn't work. But what are you using it right? Because 99% of the time it works. But if you take one day and 2 days you don't take, and then you take 2 pills, that doesn't work. So it's how you are using, how you're administrating the birth control, right? So how you are administrating prayer. It's not just about praying for long hours, but really connecting to God and checking yourself, what we're still doing wrong. How can you be better? How can you improve some skills? And this is what you're gonna really change your life. And in the next topic is the joy of prayer. And it's just really beautiful sentence that I got here for us to analyze. Prayer is a divine mist that destroys the highest heat of passions, the firstborn of faith. It leads us to the pathway that takes us to God. This one was my favorite. In introspection and solitude, you are with God. No more mysteries for you, because He unveils Himself to you. And I don't know if it was the image that I got. I think I honestly envy that person right there, sitting down in solitude. Because as I have in my bio, I really connect to God when I'm in nature. It's just so much easier for me when, there is no noise of cars or there is no cell phones. It's just you in a forest or you in a mountain, and it's just so easy to feel God. It's just, you hear the birds and maybe some water, and it's just so much easier to connect to God. So this for sure was my favorite sentence, and I hope I can be that person sometime soon and be in solitude with God. And the last one is, when you pray, you no longer hear the confused noise of the earth, but the sweet and soft voice of the archangels, lighter than the morning breeze, when play among the leaves of the great forests. Saint Augustine. And with that, I say thank you. Thanks for your time, for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. That was awesome. I really relate to starting the day off with prayer. I'll notice a difference for me because it allows you that time to put things in perspective, especially if we're busy. A little time to reflect and to just take it down a little, show the gratitude, even if we have a lot going on, and just, like I say, put it in a little better perspective. So really like that. So thank you for sharing. Comments are open from anybody else that would like to share.
Deborah, I really loved your talk. It was absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
Yes, because the angle you brought to this chapter that we've obviously all studied many times, it was just so unique and eye-opening and refreshing. And what I enjoyed was your honesty and self-reflection, which then we can use and I can use for my own self-reflection, always striving for more coherence, right? And it's just so amazing when we find out where we're incoherent, because that gets us closer to God. So I really loved all of what you brought to us. Thank you so much. Very self-enriching.
Thank you, Deborah. I loved your rawness. You spoke about your engagement with prayer in your life. You opened your world, your vulnerabilities to us. And that's what prayer is all about for me. When I open myself up to all my vulnerabilities, I consider myself, I'm judging myself, not the others, in prayer and trying to connect with God. Your presentation was about speaking from the heart, not just saying words. And you showed us how, by being vulnerable today and expressing how you're engaging with prayer and what you're working on. You talked about your inner transformation through prayer. And I just thought that was so beautiful and such a loving example to share with us as how to go about praying. So thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Hi, Deborah. Go ahead, Tanya. I'll wait.
Oh, no, go ahead, please.
Oh, okay. Well, I really enjoyed it, and particularly about when it comes to teaching children, because it's really important to focus on God and them see you focusing on God. And because they're vibing off of you, they're bouncing off of you. And my little niece all the time, is vibing off of me. So I always connect. I always make sure I take my time and I talk to God. And it's important for me to even tell her it's okay to talk to God. It's okay to tell him whatever you want to tell him, whatever secret, no matter what. So that was really beautiful for you to bring that in. Thank you so much. I loved it.
Thanks, Regina. Yeah, it's for sure so easy to go in the mechanical way of prayer, and that's good. He's learning, but it's so much more than the words, The words eventually he will learn, but the connection, that's what you're going to stick to him or not. So, yeah.
I love the way you start the hurricane coming. The tornado. He's the answer of your prayer, isn't it?
Yeah, he is.
Because I have been since the beginning there together. Wow, what a wonderful topic. I love this topic. And like you said, we don't need words to connect with, like a ritual to connect with God. I don't think if you do a ritual, God will be listening to us. I think the prayer you are doing, even though not words don't need the actions, because what you do, your motherhood, is a prayer to God. You are teaching him to love God through nature, through your time that we spend with him. Even in waking up, imagine the soul is there. Now we are studying, we're doing something, and then the tornado comes in the bed and then pull you down again to earth to make you concentrate that you're still here. And that is beautiful, because this is a prayer through motherhood, through your teaching. You are a teacher. Now you teach what you love and what you do the best. And this is a prayer to God, because pray, connect with God, is doing something good to others and doing something good to ourselves. That is the way we praise God. That's what God's wish and expect from each of us. It is doing that, like when you said your inner transformation. That is more what is more agradable? How do I say? Agreeable to God is when we are good, when we are doing good for us, and then we are correcting our mistakes during our inner transformation time, when we are forgiving others, when we recognize our defect, our differences, and when we accept the defect of others, the differences of others. This is a prayer. So God expects this for us. No formulas. I don't believe in formulas either. Or every morning when I wake up, I say, thank you, God. Thank you, my lovely Father, my lovely Creator. I learned to love God above all. Because if we love God above all, and we connect with God with a pure heart, we are praying with him, we are serving him, we are connect with him, and we are serving others. We are in service to his wonderful righteousness, for his wonderful goal for the humankind. Like you said, I know it will take time for the earth to be better one day, but we must believe it. Why we have to believe it? Because is God is our creator. He never will fail. He never will fail. And all his plans, everything he has created to all of us in the universe, in different galaxies, in different planets, in different dimensions, everything is for the best. And everything one day will be united in all dimensions. And I really believe, because that is the promise that Jesus came to earth and gave to and taught us to believe on it. Jesus taught us to believe. So we must believe. We must do our part through loving God. More we love God, we respect him, we are doing good for ourselves, for our generations, and from the world. That is the prayer, to be better son, to be better daughter of God. I appreciate your speech. I always love it. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for being so true, because the spirit of truth must be part of our life. That is why we have to be. Thank you. I love you.
Thank you, Tanya. I love you too. And I miss you.
Deborah, one thing I must say I really appreciate is that you point out it's not really beneficial to pray to get other people to shape up so that it's going to be easier on me. That's guilty ear.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Dave. Yeah.
And
Sarah,
Deborah,
I'm sorry, I wanted to say one more thing about that graph that you showed with how people, um, the poorer you are in material items, the higher people pray, or the more people pray. I thought that was absolutely fascinating. Thank you.
Yeah, because we all know that, but seeing the graph, I was like, whoa, okay, so it's true. It's just like, oh, okay, maybe this was right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that. I really enjoyed that. I really appreciated your honesty on your presentation there, and also when you pointed out, when things go good and things are going right, and you kind of checked off that list, and if you were of service. And then what I really liked is how you pointed out when the failing part, when the day that you fail, and because when I do a nightly review and I look at that and I look at my day, and when I did not hit everything, you see the failings in that, and that was good. And you just asked for a prayer too, to forgive me for my failings today, and to help me live your will better tomorrow. Just a simple prayer on that, and but it's good because that's what kind of gets me, trying to being and growing and understanding about 1% a day. I just really appreciated that about just your honesty in your whole presentation there. So thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
Yeah.
And Deborah, I wanted to add a piece from Emmanuel in Thought in Life, chapter 26 on prayer, where he says that prayer is not just sitting down and taking out the time from our days to focus on God and pray, but he says that it's actually any natural concentration before any useful enterprise along our path. That's prayer. So if we're focused on something with the intent, we're doing our very best, we're putting all of our aspects into this task, that's a form of prayer as well. So prayer, his definition of prayer is widening the scope. It's actually really wonderful to be aware of that, how we can wash dishes, take care of your little child, and just, feel this connection and tune in and feel. Emmanuel is actually drawing a picture of that. We're turning the mirror of our souls towards God. So to have this picture in the morning, and we're turning this mirror, we're wiping it clear, and we're turning it towards God, and then we're focusing on our actions, our enterprises during the day, and that's a form of prayer.
It's just being here now, right? It's reconnecting to right now and not being all over the place, for sure. That's beautiful. Thanks, Sunshine.
Deborah, this is Mark. I would just say, as others have, your content was exemplary and your delivery was as well. And it is witnessed by the fascinating conversations that are taking place right now. The perspectives everyone has on the key points that you brought out and how it has impacted each of us individually. So congratulations, beautiful presentation.
Thanks, Mark. Thank you.
Hey, Deborah, there are a couple aspects that really caught my attention. One was what Regina mentioned about the statistics. I never seen anything like that. I wonder where you found it.
Google. Google it. You can find it.
Yeah, see, God is in Google too. Yeah, and the other aspect is that one thing that caught my attention by reading that book, Boa Nova, or The Good News from Chico Xavier, there's in chapter 18 a lesson just about prayer. And on that lesson, it says that prayer is so vital to us because that is evidence of our connection with God, which is already here, but we are the ones that are deficient on keeping that connection active. So prayer needs to be cultivated to the point that it becomes a second nature to us, like breathing. I think that was amazing, especially because when you look at some examples of other cultures, like when you see people that walking on down the street with the bead, with the prayer bead in their hands there. And we think that, well, that's just a religious practice. But there's a scientific purpose of that, which I found out is that that's today science has established that there's what's called the God, there's an expression, the God molecule, that they were able to visualize that once you're in state of prayer, your brain emits all this extra energy. So that's evidence of that connection with a higher realm. So as they are praying, each bit is to maintain that level of state of mind. So that's why they keep praying. Every bit is a prayer because they want to sustain that level of connection. So to pray is so important. That's our connection. So it's a skill that we need to master. That's for sure. But thank you for the presentation. That was great.
Thank you. I wonder if it's the same thing with meditation. You know, if we can get the same level of energy with meditation and prayer. I wonder.
Yeah, but that's the distinction, is that you don't need to be secluded in a meditation room in order to connect with God. You can be in public walking and still be in prayer. So that's the point that we need to put our efforts to master.
Yeah.
But it's a long project, I know.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not even closer.
And one thing about meditation, I have been a yogi for many years, and we passed about 3 hours meditating and exercising in meditation. I'm a Hatha yogi. So I will tell you the simplest things in the way to meditate is walk in nature. That is when you feel connected. And meditating, like in my house right now, I have all the environment that I need to be, to be in nature. And my meditation, I stopped doing 3 hours meditation, 1 hour exercise to meditating. What I do, I go to my backyard and I close my eyes and I listen to the birds. All the houses, gardeners will come and making noises. I just disconnect. And then I start to observe in nature. I choose some trees to observe, or animals to observe, or birds to observe, and the movement around me. And I will tell you, for about 15 years meditating, I never had the experience I have been now.
It's
So
again
that
like now.
Yeah, it's like Charles was saying, like you saying, it is just live now. Pay attention to now, because yesterday is not exist anymore. We will not go back to that. Even this morning, we will not go back. And in a few hours, we cannot go back to this moment we are right now. No, so we need to live conscious. We need to live now and live and pay attention to not lose this great opportunity that we are having now. Thank you.
Hi, Debbie. Super quick feedback.
Hi.
Everybody has said wonderful things, truthful things about your presentation. And as you know, that I looked up to you as you are a wonderful mom to Tom. And you are the example, and you're an inspiration for me and for many others. And, you say, be the change. You are the change in your own way by share with us your one experience and your inner transformation and your struggles. And by sharing, you are teaching me, for example, wonderful ways to interact with your child. And that's something that I've been wanting to learn even more as Ian grows. And I know he's watching, he's observing my behavior all the time. So he's learning what I'm showing him by my example. So I catch myself many times also, trying to multitask and doing things and not being present, which, it's something that I want to correct. Like right now, I am listening because it's important to me. I need to feed my soul I need this energy, this amazing interaction that we all have, but I'm also, interacting with him. So again, it's about the balance, right? This temperance, the idea of not here or there, but being present as I can, because sometimes it's one sentence, it's one word that you catch and it clicks to you, you know? So that's my challenge. But again, you brought so much light, you shed so much light into some of the experience that I'm facing in my path of in the motherhood, and also balancing my own individual needs, you know, to have that 10 minutes in the morning. I actually had an agreement with Ian. I said, look, you know, it's just you and I, we're a team, and I need you. I'll put you away for 10 minutes. Please don't cry too loud. I don't want my neighbors to call, you know, the child protective service, whatever. But I just need that moment. I need to use the restroom. I need to check in. Because checking in, understand what's going on with me, I can be a better mom, I hope. Because at least I know that the issues that I'm facing, or there is a feeling that is unresolved, it has nothing to do with him. It's just me going through a process, digesting whatever it is. So then understanding that difference, I'm not irritated at him or at his crying, but instead, it's identifying what it is really going on inside of me. So that 10 minutes is crucial. It's essential. So we've been practicing this in my house, where I need that moment for my own mental, spiritual sake. So then I can be a better person, a better mom, a better professional, right? Especially before I start working, that 1 minute of prayer and say, God, we are a team. Let's go. Let's do this together. I'm not alone. Stop praying for my coworkers to change. That's not gonna work. We already we heard from you. We know this by heart. So stop it there. Instead, having that union with God and the partnership, where we go into this challenge together. Because after all, I ask for all this. So while I cannot ask to change or to shorten my trials, I can ask for the help, right? The support. So that's what I'm going to focus on. And I want to thank you for that, you know? So be careful what you ask for, what you wish for, because you ask and you shall receive. So before you ask for quantic leap, my friends, my advice, make sure you're ready, because it will come to you. And then you have to embrace the opportunity. So sorry, took longer than I imagined, but thank you so much for illustrating, for being the example, for being the change. As you have your tattoo, you can also tattoo, be the change, be the example, because you already are. So thank you for thank you for everything that you bring into our group, and your light and love. Gratitude.
Oh, thank you, sis. Thank you. You know I love you.
Okay, if anybody else have a comment they'd like to share? If not, we could take maybe 4 minutes, maybe come back at 11, and then we can do our second part, the meditation and healing. Don't forget your water. You need it.
Deborah, thank you, my sister. That was beautiful and inspiring. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Kiki.
Thank you.
I will have to go because my tornado is watching a movie right now, so I can be here. So I'm gonna rescue him from the movie. Yeah, we do what you gotta do, sis.
Yeah, we're gonna keep you in the prayers, my dear.
Thank you.
Love you very, very much, Deborah.
Yeah,
Thank you, my dear.
love you all.
Beijos pro Tom. Beijo enorme.
Beijos.